The sun burned hard over Abuja, so bright it turned the sky white. Hawkers shouted in Yoruba and Hausa as Okada zigzagged between cars. Children laughed as they kicked the ball across the dusty street. Life moved on as usual, but high on the hill, the presidential villa stood unnaturally perfect. No matter how the sun hit it, not a single shadow fell beneath it. Chike's father once told him the sun never lies, but standing at the foot of that hill, he thought, here the sun hides the truth. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe for new updates. In Lagos, the newsroom was a storm of voices and ringing phones. Chike sat among the noise, opening a brown envelope that smelled faintly of rust. Inside were photographs of the villa, each one the same, bright sunlight, yet no shadow. A file slipped out, edges damp, and when he touched it, his finger came away with something dark, almost like blood. Amina, his colleague, stood behind him. "Who gave you that?" "Anonymous," he said, eyes still on the photos. "Burn it. The last reporter who asked about Asorok, they found what was left of him in a ditch." Chike's mouth twisted into a half smile. "If I don't write this, who will?" That night, the bus to Abuja roared through darkness. The passengers slept while Chike stayed awake, reading the file under the dim glow of his phone. Old maps showed sacred burial grounds exactly where the villa now stood. Across one map, in faded Hausa, someone had written, "Do not disturb the ground. The ground remembers." By dawn, the city was washed in gold. Chike walked toward the villa with forged credentials and the confidence of a man who had nothing to lose. The guards barely looked at him. Inside, the hallway stretched long and white, humming with two bright fluorescent lights. Each step echoed louder than it should have. The lights flickered, then burned brighter than the sun outside. A sudden gust of wind swept through, though no windows were open. Papers swelled around him. A cabinet at the end of the hall rattled violently before bursting open. Files spilled out, their pages streaked with red that dripped onto the tiles like blood. From the corner, an old janitor appeared, pushing a mop with trembling hands. He avoided Chike's eyes. "You shouldn't be here," the old man said. "Why doesn't this place have a shadow?" "They built it where the ancestors cried," he whispered. "Warriors died here, betrayed by their own. They begged for rest, but bulldozers came. The officials made a pact, power for silence, but the land never forgets." Chike pushed deeper into the villa. The archive room was flooded with sunlight from a skylight, but the light bent unnaturally, avoiding certain places where the air shimmered like heat. He touched the wall. It rippled like water, and whispers rose in a dozen voices, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Edo, merging into one cry. A burst of golden light threw him back. Images flooded his mind, warriors falling under betrayal, rituals drenched in blood, the first president shaking hands with a sorcerer. The voices roared through him. "Why me?" he gasped. "Because you see what others refuse to see," they answered. He stumbled upward until he reached the rooftop at noon. General Okoro stood there with armed guards, his posture as firm as steel. "You built your throne on their graves," Chike said. The general laughed coldly. "The dead serve me." The ground shuddered underfoot. Cracks splintered across the rooftop, and light erupted from below, so bright it burned. Out of the cracks rose warriors glowing gold, armored, their spears burning like molten fire. The soldiers fired, but the bullets passed through. One by one they were dragged screaming into the light. The warriors surrounded the general. His arrogance melted into fear as he stumbled back. They turned to Chike. Justice must be delivered. The pen must strike where swords failed. The light surged into him, filling his veins. His eyes burned white. When he spoke, it was not his own voice. "You cannot bury what refuses to die. The general tried to run, but the warrior's spears struck. His body crumbled into ash, swept away by the wind. When the light faded, the villa finally cast a shadow. But it was not the building's shadow. It was Chike's, stretching unnaturally long across the city, dark and alive, as if claiming everything it touched. The truth had risen, and the shadow was no longer something to fear. It was something to obey. As the shadow stretched across the blazing city, swallowing streets and climbing buildings, one question lingered in the heat. When the truth finally comes for those in power, will you stand with it or be buried beneath it?